Welcome to the Hasbro Arena, and today in the Hasbro Arena it's Hasbro War Games. You can see I've put two rings together, two Hasbro rings, and I've made a War Games cage. Now if you've seen my other video, one of my other videos on YouTube, you'll know I've got a really easy guide for making your own action figure cage. Actually what I've done here though is I've used the Mattel War Games kit because I got it secondhand on eBay and it was quite an easy thing to do. I've just added a little bit of extra mesh on top. I think in the future I may make another Hasbro cage and make it properly, but for now that's done the job. If you want to know how to make your own Hasbro cage, really simple, really easy, do check out my guide on one of my other videos. But this, as I said, is the Mattel set, and we've got a bit of a match going on here. Randy Savage about to make his entrance into the cage to help Jake out. He's down 2-1 against the Twin Towers in there, but as always, as Randy Savage is just about to get the spotlight, in comes Hulk Hogan faffing about doing something else to steal away his spotlight, and he's drawing with the heels over here. You've got $1 Million Man, Andre the Giant, and the new zombie sailor Dino Bravo. Looks quite good, doesn't it? In the mix, as does the new Earl Hebner. There's the old Jack's ring bell, which I've painted blue. That's a really old pair of ring steps that I made years and years ago with my first Hasbro ring when I was a kid, made of an old Lego box, and that's just a bit of wood put together because these steps, I couldn't use them on the door because I needed to put the ring together. I've just got a little bit of mesh down the middle there, look, to fill in that gap. And you can see there's a big event taking place. My crowd is always, as ever, made up of Hasbro's. Try and put the ones with shirts on at the front, but you know, it's a hot day, maybe they've got rowdy, taking the shirts off, enjoying themselves, doesn't matter. And a bit of extra crowd with some pictures that I've printed out and stuck on the back there. There are lots of people much better at figure photography than me who've got much better backgrounds, but mine does work, and I'll tell you the trick about that in a moment. Equally, it looks a bit, on a picture like this, you can see, well, there's all the other Hasbros slightly distracting. Again, there's a trick to how using those works if you're coming to take photographs of all this. But let's move on and see where we are. We've got the interview podium and the new Mattel Mean Gene. Really pleased with him. I think he's great. And my entranceway, that is a WWF taken from an old magazine. I got rid of my magazines years ago, so I bought one on eBay and I took out the old merchandise catalogue from the middle because it had a really good sized WWF. I chopped that out, I put it on a bit of card, another bit of card behind, a bit of material here, and you've got an entranceway. And over here we've got Gorilla and Bobby. That's the old Jack's announce table, and not perfect, but it'll do the job. And that is a Jack's BCA Sergeant Slaughter and the old WCW Mean Gene figure repainted with Gorilla and Bobby, one Mattel head, one Jack's head, stuck on top there. The key thing to my arena, because I've set up my arena in all sorts of different ways, you'll see pictures of it in different videos on my YouTube channel. The key thing for me is always this foam. Sheets of it that I got from a shop called Hobbycraft here in the UK, but I'm sure you can get it from lots of other places. It's about 50p a sheet, I think. And it's just blue foam and black foam here, easy to cut up. So you can have black ring mats. You can actually use the foam. I use the foam to go around here to make the old 2000s Raw barricade as well. But it's perfect for blue ring mats and the blue entranceway as well. The old Jack's chair, that works nicely. And these are the old Mattel NXT barricades, one of the best purchases I ever made. If you just take the bottoms off, the feet off, they work fine for Hasbro. And the cage looks a bit scratty, it is a bit thrown together. As I said, I may make a proper one at some point by expanding my cage that I've already made. But the key to it, as I've learned, as I said, there are much better figure photographers, that's what I was trying to say, than me, who do a much better job than I do. But I've toyed around with it, I've played with it, I've sort of practiced with lights. I've added in using some of the sort of selfie lights, you know, the ones you get with mobile phones so you can record videos of yourself, just the circular lights. They're relatively cheap. I've got a couple of those, and I've experimented a few times with taking photographs, and my pictures have greatly improved. I mean, that there is a really fun photo, but you can see in the background that the crowd looks a bit, obviously a piece of paper. You've got Doink the Clown down there. You can see that the cage is hanging off slightly. The key thing actually is just getting really close, and you may be an expert on photography and this may be obvious to you, but I'm not, and it's something I've had to learn, is that when you get inside and you get the shot, and this would all be lit if I was doing it properly, you don't really notice the backdrop. So actually you'll find, if I can get in there, let's get in there, look, yeah, that backdrop doesn't look too bad. Now again, it needs lighting because it's got a lot of shadow in there, but getting really close and lighting things up and blurring out the backgrounds where possible, I find with a lot of my photographs, you just see faces and shapes in the background, and so you don't notice that it's actually Hawk and Mr. Perfect and a printout from some 1970s crowd. It works really well, and I'm going to take some photos of this and I'm going to experiment with that. Gone are the days, I mean, if you've seen some of the pictures I've posted on Instagram or Twitter, you'll see I've been taking photographs for years and years and years. I've always liked doing it ever since I was a kid, and I'll come up with different ideas and just take pictures of fun things. These days I have got the bug a little bit, and I'm trying just to experiment with lights and make things a little bit more interesting. It does take up quite a lot of time. It's quite time consuming because I haven't got anywhere I can keep this stuff set up. So you've got to build it, you've got to set it up, you've got to hang your blankets up round to make sure you've got backdrops, and then it's experimenting with light for every shot. But do you know what? I didn't think I would suddenly become an aficionado of photography, and I have, and I've really enjoyed it. I think maybe I need to work on my my visual skills when it comes to photography. I find my film skills perhaps not my strong point. Well, you can judge for yourself here. I hope you're getting a good idea of the arena. But ultimately, it's about being creative. It's about saying, I've got this idea, actually, how can I do that? What can I make it out of? And ultimately, it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. So I'd really urge you, if you think to yourself, you know, you like action figures, you like your wrestling figures, you've seen some of the things on YouTube or some of the really great photographers you've seen on Instagram, Twitter, elsewhere, and you fancy doing it, it's really easy to do. Just think what materials you might need and see if you can put one together. I mean, that's just a piece of old cardboard with a bit of black electrical tape around it, but it's absolutely perfect with the steps there for an interview stage. You know, as I said, that is just a cut out of a magazine stuck on a bit of cardboard. But again, when it's photographed, when it's lit properly, it comes up really nicely. And I think this cage will as well. I simply saw the Mattel cage on eBay and I thought, do you know what? I reckon if I put a bit of mesh over the top, I could make a Hasbro War Games. And there you are. I'm going to get some really good photographs out of that. There's a few tips in there for how to put your own arena together simply and easily if it's not something you've done before, or if you have done it and you're looking for a bit of a refresh. And I think I'm going to start taking some photographs of this cage. So look out for those in the coming weeks and months on Instagram and Twitter. For now, Randy Savage is getting in the cage. Hasbro War Games continues.